What would you think if I told you that time could vanish from your awareness? Not like when you're fast asleep, nor like the moment you lose consciousness, but when every concept of before and after melts away, leaving only an unbroken current of the present, as if you've stepped out of the flow of the clock and into another realm. A realm where time is no longer measured by the ticking of seconds or the fade of sunset, but by the silent pulse of the soul. In that moment, you are no longer chasing anything, no longer fearing you'll miss out. There is only absolute presence, sharp and still, so much so that everything around you feels infinite. Human beings, thousands of years ago, already knew such moments. Eastern Zen masters called it satori, the lightning flash of awakening in the mind, while Western philosophers spoke of the eternal now. In these moments, one might sit by a river, hearing the waters flow yet forgetting they are listening. One might walk through a crowded market and find no noise at all, for every sound has merged into a nameless symphony. Each experience is a doorway, and upon stepping through, you realize what has vanished is not time itself, but the very awareness that measures it. Curiously, these moments rarely arrive when you try to grasp them. Much like chasing sleep, the harder you try, the further it slips away. They come when you let go, when you release your plans, your scripts for the future, your pointless comparisons with others. They appear when you do something for its own sake, not for its outcome. The artist paints, not to sell, but because every brushstroke is their breath. The gardener tends the flowers, not to show them off, but because watching a new leaf unfurl is a quiet joy. Have you ever lost track of time in this way? When it's done, you look up to find day has turned to night, or night to morning, without knowing how it happened. Modern science calls this state flow, when the brain's activity in regions that process the self and subjective time decreases, replaced by full immersion in the experience. Yet the scientific description only touches the surface. The deeper essence is an encounter with the self, not the self covered in roles and labels, but the raw core, untouched by expectation or fear. In that flow, all boundaries dissolve, between observer and observed, between the act and the actor. The sages of old harnessed this state to expand their wisdom. They would sit still for hours, not to escape life, but to see it more clearly. When the mind is no longer bound by the ticking of the clock, you start to notice the subtlest movements, the shift in the wind, the change of light, the faint ripple in thought that settles again. And in watching change long enough, you begin to glimpse the unchanging beneath it. In a world where everyone is in a hurry, letting time disappear from awareness is a profoundly human rebellion. It says, I refuse to have my worth measured by productivity or speed. It is a reminder that you are not a machine running on a schedule, but part of a much larger stream of life, where no one asks how many tasks you completed today, but only, have you truly lived? Perhaps the hardest part is not finding such moments, but believing they are worth finding. Society has programmed us to measure worth by achievement and result, making stillness feel like a luxury no one dares touch. But if you stop, just once, you may find yourself stepping deeper into that world where time disappears. You encounter a strange paradox. It is precisely within that stillness that you feel more connected to everything around you. No longer cut off by the pace of life, you become an inseparable part of its movement, like a drop of water merging into the ocean. You don't vanish, the closed shell of the ego dissolves, revealing a more open essence. From this vantage point, everything shares a common rhythm. The rustle of leaves, the beat of your heart, even the turning of distant stars. In the East, Enlightened beings have called this state no mind, not the absence of thought, but thought that no longer clings to you. Thoughts pass like clouds across the sky, leaving no trace. In the West, Stoic philosophers saw it as a supreme freedom, the freedom from being bound by trivial worries. Though the language differs, the essence remains the same. When awareness is no longer shackled by time, a person becomes light, as if shedding an invisible armor. But to reach this place, you must overcome the psychological barriers you've built yourself. One of the greatest is the fear of missing out, the fear that if you stop, the world will leave you behind, the fear that while you rest, others are moving ahead, the fear that if you're not constantly doing, you will have no value. This fear keeps you running on a giant wheel. The more you run, the more you forget why you started. Yet, if you dare to step off, you see, that wheel was never taking you anywhere. Timeless moments teach you that value is not in speed, but in depth. A slow, honest conversation can transform a relationship. An afternoon of simply listening to rain can heal old wounds. An act of kindness with no calculation can echo for a lifetime. When things are no longer bound by the clock, you start measuring life in different units. The unit of presence, of compassion, of truth. An old Indian story tells of a student who asked his master, "How long will it take me to reach enlightenment?" The master replied, "If you try, 30 years." The student insisted, "What if I try twice as hard?" The master smiled, 60 years. Impatience is the enemy of awakening. Like planting a tree, you cannot make it grow faster by tugging at its branches. You can only nurture it, be patient, and let time, or timelessness, do its work. Interestingly, when you no longer feel time passing, you also no longer feel lack. Lack is born of comparison, comparing today to yesterday, yourself to others. When markers disappear, there's nothing to compare. And in that space, a peculiar fullness emerges. It depends on neither your location, your possessions, nor others' opinions. It is simply the wholeness of being. Think back to the last time you felt this. Perhaps watching a sunset, playing with a child, or working on something you love so much you forgot to eat or sleep. In those moments, you accidentally touched one of life's greatest secrets. Peace is not in having more time, but in time no longer being your concern. And once you've tasted it, you begin to see the world differently. You no longer answer every call, nor flinch at every signal. You choose carefully where to place your attention, knowing it is your most precious asset. You become the guardian of the door to your inner stillness, allowing no meaningless noise. When stillness becomes part of you, you begin to see a deeper truth. Letting time disappear from awareness is not just an experience. It is a way of living. It need not be a rare spark that fades. It can be the ground you walk upon every day, like a gentle, constant melody beneath the changing noise of the world. Those who understand this no longer chase the seasons of modern life. They do not panic when others move faster, earn more, or attract more attention. They know that such haste is only a game of illusions, and every victory in it will dissolve like smoke. They choose to stand apart, not from weakness, but because they have found another value, the value of living in their own rhythm. From this view, the world is like a great river. Many fight against its current, exhausting themselves. Others drift blindly with it, letting it carry them anywhere. But the one who understands the nature of time is different. They neither resist nor surrender blindly. They glide with the current, eyes open to the scenery on both sides, ears listening to the water's song, heart steady on the course. This is when knowing yourself stops being a slogan and becomes a compass. You know what you truly need, and, more importantly, what you can let go of. You are no longer led by praise or criticism, no longer thirsty for outside validation, like a parched soul seeking rain. You become the one who fills your own vessel from within. Sages from both East and West have pointed to this. Lao Tzu said, "Knowing enough is enough. That is eternal sufficiency." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts." When time is no longer an invisible overseer, you have the space to choose those thoughts more wisely. You discard the noise and keep only the echoes that nourish your spirit. And then a subtle transformation takes place. You stop chasing success as a destination and begin to see it as a natural outcome of living true to your values. You stop asking, "How much have I done?" and start asking, "How have I lived?" This question is the key to unlocking lasting peace. Living in this timeless rhythm makes ordinary moments sacred. A friend's laughter, the grateful glance of a stranger, the gentle touch of wind on your skin. All are treasures you once missed while rushing. You realize that life's true worth lies not in its milestones, but in the countless small points weaving the tapestry of the present. At the peak of this understanding, you reach a state of emotional freedom. No longer swayed by external expectations, you stand steady like a mountain amid the river of life. You neither seek pursuit nor feel the need to prove. You simply are, living in alignment with what you know to be right, letting life weave the rest.